Blackout Podcast.
Hi, Lucia.
Hello.
Thanks for coming to the podcast
Yeah,
today.
thanks for having me. It's fun.
So a little bit about Lucia. Right now, I know you're the director of Arcadia, and it's playing at the Bus Up Theatre from Sunday.
From tonight until Wednesday, but we're sold out tonight. So
Yeah. So we're actually getting 2 tickets for a lucky listener and their friend to see the closing show on Wednesday, 23rd.
Yeah.
Lucia, I'm just going to let you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a theater and English student at Dal, and I'm really interested in pursuing directing and have a strong love for 19th century theater, 19th century themes and stuff like that. So, yeah.
And actually, I remember you have this story that we talked about a while ago with the weird guy that's super interesting.
So a lot of this kicked off from what I'm pursuing now in general, because I was hired kind of unofficially to do some production research about Lord Byron and the Shelleys.
Him.
Yeah, and then I ended up in Geneva, staring in front of Villa Diodati, which was Lord Byron's villa where Mary Shelley started writing Frankenstein. And I just had an epiphany that I feel like I should be studying this a bit more seriously and pursuing this from a more creative and original way. And Arcadia, which is the play I'm directing by Tom Stoppard, is very heavily about Lord Byron and his involvement and his contributions to literature. So I think this is a really good first avenue to explore some of these themes that I want to play with more.
Yeah, I remember talking about Lord Byron, super passionate about, and he's an amazing character.
Yeah, he definitely is. Yeah.
And I know, you're really interested. I think it was a certain number of years where it was in this country.
Yeah. So, in 1816. It was Lord Byron and the Shelleys and, Mary Wollstonecraft. She wasn't married to Percy Shelley yet, but they went to Geneva. And for me, it feels like reading about what happened during the summer they were there feels like it's like a teen sex comedy. It's just so much stuff happened. But then they also started writing these amazing works. Polidori, we get Vampire, which is the first vampire text that inspires Dracula and all kinds of other things. And then we start getting Frankenstein out of this part too. So I really am so interested in this summer. And I've seen... There's so many adaptions of this. There's stories about it, but everyone takes it so seriously.
Yeah.
And it's no, this is hilarious. If you read their journals, they're just fighting about ghosts.
Okay, actually, you got to share some of those stories.
Oh my God. Well, I think there's one really funny one where it's a journal that Percy Shelley is writing about listening to Mary and Byron talk about that. Well, if we believe in ghosts, we have to believe in God. So I guess we're in agreement here. And he's getting so mad because he's strongly atheist. He's we can't believe in God and we can't have ghosts. We can have ghosts. And it's just, there's so many of these. It keeps going. And I just think I think personally, if I could ever take on a biopic position and write something like that or work in something, I'd love to take something like this hilarious part of history that is so influential and really work with it from that comedy angle.
Did you start writing it yet?
I think it's a bit NDA'd right now with what's going on with that because there's somebody else involved. So
fair enough.
Yeah. But I can talk about the research part because
let's talk about that one.
But talk about what do you want to know about researching?
Well, Lord Byron.
Lord Byron. Yeah. What do you want to know? I feel like at this point it's been 2 years of just weird research about Byron and if anyone from my cast is listening to this, they're going to just hate this because there's a character in Arcadia who is literally just me, who just talks about Byron incessantly and is so obsessed with making sure that connecting Byron to every single thing in literary history. And there's another scholar who's no, it's not always him. Stop. And it's so funny, but yeah.
Okay, so tell me something that most people thought were true about him, but in your research you found out it might not have been true.
I don't know if there's anything that's not necessarily true about Byron, because he was from reading his journals, I think he was very much someone who was very aware of the public perception of him and was very okay with it. And when we think of Byron, I think there was a I forget who actually started, but there was this phrase about him, the mad, bad, and dangerous to know. And he just kind of live that kind of life.
So do you think so the name happened because of things he did and then he just doubled down, or it was for sure at a point and then he just felt, you know what, this is who people think I am, I'm just going to be this person?
Well, I think it was a bit of, I think this is what people think I am, because around the time that everyone kind of started knowing about more, not insidious things now, but at that point, like about his bisexuality and about his, like, you know, those things, I think he never denied anything. He just kind of left England and was like, well, no one can catch me over here. So, yeah.
Let's circle back to Arcadia. How long is your play?
The play runs about 2 hours and 12 minutes, I think it is, with an intermission. Yeah.
And how long did rehearsals go? Because I remember the very first post. Yeah. I'll let you go.
So we got accepted because this is being produced by the Dalhousie Theatre Society. So it's a whole student-run, non-for-profit organization that helps anyone with an interest in theater put on their own production, help fund it, and so on. And we got accepted around, I think it was beginning of April.
Yeah.
And so we started production on that in May. We had our first like read, and from like experiences working in the industry a bit, I was very adamant that I want everyone to know who everyone is in this. I want to make sure that every head of department knows the other person, so that no one is overstepping, someone taking over someone's job, or, you know, forgetting that there is someone there.
And what was the process of your casting?
Casting was we started casting in September. Yeah, we spent the summer just working, getting all those fine-tuning those things. Casting started in September. I think I was a little unorthodox in terms of what we were doing. So we did a panel audition for the Dal Theatre Society. So there were two other shows. There was Objects, which is a student-written show, and then there was Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe. And both of the other groups wanted very clear cold reads. We want you to read this piece from the play. For me, like, as an actor too, I hate that. I hate cold reads. I will never give you what you want in a cold read. It's going to be the worst thing. And for film, I understand the importance of that, because there's so little time. You need to kind of see what it's going to look like right there. For theater, we've got 3 months to rehearse this. I'm not looking for you to get this perfect now. So I had everyone read bits of poetry, nothing by Byron.
I was going to ask that.
No, because we're like, people are going to recognize this if it's Byron. So we got some Keats and Caroline Lamb, who was one of Byron's many dalliances, but she's also a fantastic poet. And we also printed out 2 pages from Wikipedia that were just basic science information. This play is incredible. It has so much, but
what was the Wikipedia pages for?
So we had 2. Well, no, it wasn't 2 Wikipedia pages. I lied there. We had 1 Wikipedia page about ducks and how duck feet help heat circulation. And we had another one, which was this weird lecture series from the 1860s about how candles work. And it's, this guy is so excited to write about how candles work. So we had people reading these. And for me, I care so much about personalities. Your performance is definitely matters, but what kind of a person you are is so important to me. Not if you're a good person or a bad person. I'm not going to pass that at an audition, but how you carry yourself in the room, like how you introduce your name, how you work with the material I give you, because if you can work with it in a way that I think I can work with you too, then I'm more up to casting you. There's people who auditioned who are phenomenal actors, but like when I was thinking about how I would work with them myself, that wasn't what was going to fit this role. And I think that who you are as a person is so important. As an actor, you have you. You know, I don't want someone just mimicking what another person is doing.
Going through that process, did you ever feel like, was there anyone that immediately the person started reading about duck feet, you knew, oh, this is the person? Or
there's one actor, and it wasn't even the duck feet. There was one actor, and Sissy, who plays Chloe in the play, and she came in and she said she was going to do a monologue about this girl breaking up with her boyfriend, except she changed it, so she's kidnapping him, and it was like, and she just went, and me and Nathaniel Pelly, who was casting with me, just kind of looked at each other like, we have no idea what this is going to look like, and we're so excited for this. Yeah, there was a couple of actors. How
was it though? Like our monologue.
The monologue, was it good? Oh, it was hilarious. But I'm being that was my first time being in that much control over casting, and again, feeling more about personalities. If you're getting every word right, that doesn't matter. I want to see how you're moving through it. The fact that she decided to change the monologue like this on itself was hilarious and a really original choice.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, she's... Sometimes it really pays to bring that originality into it.
How many people do you have in the play?
There are 12 actors, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you get your head of department. Everybody's all set to go.
Yeah.
You get your casting. How was day one? How was the first table read? Because I remember you had a photo of that on your Instagram.
I don't think anyone knew what the play was about at the first table read. So this is the complicated thing about Tom Stoppard, is he writes weird highbrow comedy. It's like, it's a very modernist kind of way of writing, where you have to have so much background in things like the history of science and literature. And reading through that first read, I feel like most people were going through like, I don't know what I'm saying right now. I didn't know that. I assumed, because it's me, that everyone knew who Lord Byron was.
Yeah.
And then they did not. And I was like, well, to save us from being here for an hour while I talk about my favorite historical son, I think I was trying to. We had a dramaturg though, Natasha, who was a history major, who handled a lot of those explanations early on, and I think she was definitely helpful to get people on the right track. Okay. After a point, we just told people, you can Google yourself, you can go to a class and learn this. Like, we can't be held responsible constantly for you understanding every word that you're saying.
And the first rehearsal, how was that one?
First, it depends on how you talk about it, because the way that we rehearsed the show, we did the play takes place in two different time periods. So we had the crew from 1809 come on certain days, and we had the crew from 2019 come in on other days.
Oh, wait. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, you didn't call everyone at once. We tried to go in order of the show, but we just called the different groups.
Yeah.
The first rehearsal for the 1809 people was like, I feel like it was really fun. It was like, we're learning the steps, but they were all very eager. They all came in they had done research on their characters. They had figured out what they wanted to do. They had ideas and things like this. When we got into the 2019, it was a bit more difficult, I think, because we had a 2-week break before we got to them. They had taken a lot of time to just kind of sit in it, and it was a bit difficult.
Wow.
I have to commend the understudies we have for the show, because both of them are now in the show full time.
Oh, wow.
And we had an understudy rehearsal specifically for them, and they had done everything from breath work to researching things they didn't know about what they were saying or who they were talking about. And it was, I think it's definitely commendable for them. I feel like the understudies were more prepared than other actors in some respects, and still even are. They're always the people who are like putting forward ideas, and they're asking questions at the right time, and they know what they're doing with their characters. And now they are in the show full time because of the way that things go.
Are there any sets in the play you super like?
The set? Oh, the set is being built by Lucia Dodaro, who is my brother. And
wow.
and he has done set design for Festival and Ganesh a little bit. He is primarily a woodworker and a philosophy student. But no, the set's really neat. I feel like you have to come and see it. It's more, it's
When did you guys start setting up at the bus stop?
So we started setting up on Wednesday, but then we had to take the whole set down and build it back up today.
Because on Thursday there's an event a friend of mine runs in the city. So I'm going, like, because actually the show starts at 10, but I was late that day. So it's like 11:30-ish, 12. Like the bus stop, the light is on and people are moving shit, and I'm thinking, wait, isn't there a play starting on Sunday? Was that you guys?
Probably. It probably was. We were there until like 2 a.m. moving everything out, and then we had to come back. My brother went back today starting at 6 a.m. to get everything set up again.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man. Why did theater Why the tear down?
It was just when we booked the venue. There was the 18th was originally our opening day, but someone had booked it before us.
Ooh.
So yeah, we had to. They just gave it the 2 days before, and then we. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. But I mean, that was factored in September. I think my brother's done a good job of trying to make the set
you already
malleable.
planned that. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you get into building stuff? Because how we actually met was through Nathan, and you built things for my film.
Yeah. Well, I cosplayed, and I still do. I did it more seriously a bit ago. Now that I've not found my calling, but been more happy with directing and academia, I've left that a little bit. But that's also how I met Nathan, was through cosplay and through just hanging out at a con in the States once, which was weird, being that like we both live in Halifax. But yeah, I've been roped in by Nathan to do a couple of projects, just like minorly. I mean, he's definitely a person who designs and plans things out, but he's taught me a lot, and I've worked on some stuff.
And what are some of the characters you've cosplayed?
I mostly cosplay men.
Yeah. And honestly speaking, going through your Instagram, there's some pictures I'm not sure if it's really you, and then I'm like, oh wait, it's her.
Yeah. And my Instagram's confusing because I do photography as well, so sometimes it's like clearly not me. Then and then other times it's unsure. I always have to be very like clear, like photo by me. I am wearing this costume. That man, that is me. That man is not me. Like
I'm like, wait, okay. I see now. Why did you decide most of your character are men?
So, years ago, I decided to cosplay Yugi's grandpa from Yu-Gi-Oh! And it was totally as a joke. And then I had some pictures done at a convention, and then I was flying to London in the UK for an audition. And when I got off the plane, my like Facebook and my Instagram had like shot up by like thousands of posts, and I was like likes, and I was like, okay, so this is a thing I do now. And I think that I guess I found my niche in that world. And it also kind of relieved a bit of pressure. A lot of like female cosplayers have that pressure and are constantly compared to other people.
Yeah.
And it's like even cosplaying characters that a lot of like famous male cosplayers do, I'm never compared on their level. More people are just impressed that it's like, oh, you actually pass as a man. And it's like, okay, I guess that's what we're doing now. But yeah, and I just find it fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Which of those characters do you? I mean, so there's a grandpa, but is there any other one you really liked?
I really like my Mr. Darcy from Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. I don't have any on Instagram right now. I have one on Instagram, I think, hiding somewhere. But the photos we got back from that were so good, and like from cosplaying so many men over these years, I've kind of figured out I'm much more of a gender fluid person. I really don't know what to do with these photos because I like them so much.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to feel that I'm just like so comfortable with myself in this very like masculine form right now.
Yeah, so, really awesome photos. And what do you usually take your photos with? Do you have a particular camera you like shooting with, or?
I use a Canon 60.
Okay.
Yeah, and an 85 lens. So it's nice.
And do you usually go with a theme when you want to shoot?
We've been joking that my style is German romanticism because I like people looking off into the distance, mainly because I'm terrified of editing when someone's eyes are staring at me for 2 hours. It's so unsettling. It's just really, really not okay.
There's a set of pictures you took at this really beautiful building. Was it in Vienna? No.
No.
2 years ago, you took this holiday.
2 years ago, when I was doing my Byron adventure.
Yeah.
I went to Photocon in Poland.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and then you had these super awesome buildings.
Yeah, it was cool because I went to a Witcher event, which is Polish, so it was really neat to be there. And I cosplayed Vernon Roach from Witcher, but I also did some photos with Claire de la Lune cosplay, who's from Turkey, and it was really neat to do that.
Sweet.
But
Cycling back to Arcadia, what was the most difficult part of making this play? What's the story? Spill.
I think looking back now, looking back, it's hard because I think I got one night's sleep this week now, and I feel like I'm just like, it was in the past. In December, I was wearing many hats that I didn't know that I would be wearing for the show. So learning how to not only direct a show and be in that creative department, but also be in the production side and go into the business side of how this has to run was probably the most difficult hurdle to go through.
Which are some of the hats you had to wear?
Well, we had to manage up our own ticket sales. So we had to set Arcadia up as a nonprofit so that we could sell our tickets. Yep. We had to handle our own marketing and things like this. But it's great using Eventbrite.
Yeah.
Because they really do, it audits itself. You know exactly where your flow is coming from. So through this, through that, I think I kind of felt very like, I was a bit upset when I first was like, oh, I have to do all these things. But now I've learned this, and it's great to know. And I think it's a good skill to have, especially in somewhere like Halifax, where there is so much community theater, so many small companies that do have to manage all of their own production and stuff like that, that I have a sense of how this works.
And how's your team working with a team?
It's been great. It's been great. I feel I kind of try to build on the system of like mutual respect. Doesn't matter what department you're from or like your seniority. That doesn't matter. If one wheel doesn't work, nothing will work. Yeah. If an actor doesn't show up on time, nothing will work. If I don't come on time I didn't do my job, it won't work. If a stage manager didn't take notes that day, something won't work. So there's no point for me in trying to build like a seniority system for people. We just have to respect that we all have different jobs to do, and you do your job well, and then keep going.
And then it all falls on you, though.
It does all fall on me.
Directed by Lucia Dodaro.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of your next play?
I've thought about plays. What my next play, what I could hypothetically do. But I think that I'm right now just so focused on Arcadia and grad school and things like this that I have like dream plays that I would love to do or like things like that. But there's no concrete plan right now.
So you said this was like kind of a competition of some sort that you actually had to apply with your play?
It wasn't a competition, but there was a proposal process.
Exactly. Why did you decide to go with this play?
Well, this was one of the first plays I learned in my first year of theater. And I think it's the play that I really learned more about, like Byron and history of science and things like this that I really enjoy now.
So what's the name Arcadia from? Because when I saw it, I thought it was, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot now, but I really thought it was like Arcadia, like Canadian Arcadia.
Yeah, like Acadian.
Exactly.
There's been jokes.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm not alone on that. So what's it about?
So Arcadia is, well, the name of the play comes from this painting of Arcadia, which is this like kind of like a promised land kind of beautiful landscape. Okay. And the play is centered around, it's told between two time periods. Yeah. Our slogan for the show is a comedy about sex, death, poetry, and algorithms.
Yeah, I saw the algorithm. That one threw me off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So set between two time periods, and in 1809, it's very much just a comedy. It's this farce about this country house and this really eccentric family where the daughter of the family is this mathematical genius, and she's figuring things out about the laws of thermodynamics, and we have someone who wrote an essay for the program who is a history of science and tech student, and she talked about how, what this character's doing is creating the first algorithm. In 1809, before you have calculators, before you have computers that can manage these systems, she's doing it by hand. Yeah. And then we have the present day where there is a group of scholars who are researching things that happen in this house. In 1809, there's a lot of stuff. Not only is there these scientific explorations happening, but possibly Lord Byron is there,
possibly
hanging out at this house, and it's an interesting play because it really does come back to this idea that, first of all, the past is never as serious as we like to believe it is. And also, we're never going to know everything. And we're really just putting together these pieces and making and following an algorithm ourselves to figure out what happened in the past.
How does it connect? So how does the 2019 thing, part of the play, happen? What's the time jump from? That's almost 200 years.
Yeah, it's scene by scene. So first scene happens in 1809, and then we cut to 2019, and then it keeps going. The final scene though is everyone is on stage. It took us 2 weeks to block. We only finally got through a good run of it like on Wednesday. So it's a chaotic mess, and it's supposed to be
how many
this way.
do you have all 12 people on the stage for that scene?
2 actors are not on stage for that. So, but mostly everyone, and the people are waltzing. It's a lot going on the bus stop stage.
And 1809, right?
Yes.
How's the costume? That must have been fun.
Yeah, Eli Warner is our costume designer, and they are a costume study student from NASCAD and Dal. I met them at HalCon, actually. We were managing the Dalhousie booth where we had a dead body, and we're just playing around with it. But they were talking about how much they also really want to do costumes like full time. And when I was mentioning that I had just finished writing an essay, of course, on my favorite people from history, they had known all of the same information. So I was like, are you... So when we bit late to the game, but when we were like, trying to find a costume designer, like we really were at that last lane, I asked Eli, I was like, would you be interested in making a bunch of Regency dresses for this play? And they were like right away like, yeah, we're gonna do it. And we rented a lot of stuff from the Halifax Tattoo as well. A lot of the women's dresses had to be made for the show.
Shit.
But all of the men's outfits were rented.
How detailed did you go with their costume?
I think in the interest of with the budget we had and being a student show, I think we could have done a lot more, but we ended up going with just trying to make everything as accurate as possible. Eli has done a really good job, and they're finishing up the final touches tonight, and I'm going to see them once they get in today, so it'll be really neat. Yeah.
What's left to do between now and when the curtains open?
Oh, there's a lot. No, actually, I think it's pretty good. I think for now till the curtains open, just making sure everyone's relaxed and ready and they're on time and those kinds of things. Yeah. I have a lot of faith in our cast. They're an amazing group of mostly first-time actors for who are between the ages of 17 and 21, and they're fantastic.
How was it like working with them?
It was great. It was great. Yeah.
So my whole thing is about making art and sharing it and using social media, and some people think it's kind of good, kind of bad. Where do you stand on that?
On social media?
Yeah, and I like sharing your things you create.
Yeah, well, social media has been the biggest platform area that I can use as a cosplayer and as an artist right now.
Yeah.
I think for me, I really like it. I think I grew up with kind of in a generation that really, I wasn't that generation that like had Facebook when I was like a baby, but by the time I had finished my first like college degree, it was something that everyone was doing. I really like it. I use Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Mostly Instagram. I feel like it's just a nice place to go. But I think social media, even noticing Arcadia, because we've been in charge of all this marketing stuff, I've been testing how does print advertisement, how does that help you? How does social media advertisement help you? Instagram has been one like the best avenue for it. Like maybe I'm annoying, I don't know, but my stories are nothing but like these tickets are sold out, these tickets are available, here's behind the scenes photos.
No, I don't think it's
working,
annoying.
Yeah,
it is. It is.
Yeah.
Talking of that, the Blackout Podcast is giving away two tickets to the closing show on Wednesday.
Yes.
And the idea is that, to get this, you have to say the passphrase. And it's all on you now.
It's all on me.
Yeah.
Oof. The passphrase for Arcadia is lightning.
Oh, great. Okay, so if you say lightning and you email us, you get the two tickets for you and a friend to see the show on Wednesday. Yeah. And why should people come and see Arcadia?
It's a show. Stoppard is amazing for being able to write shows that anyone can enjoy and everyone can enjoy. There's a beauty about Stoppard that no one is going to understand every joke and every reference, so people actually have to talk amongst each other when the show's over during intermission about, what was this joke? What was this about? What was happening at this point in time? And agree and disagree with theories and things like this. This play covers so much, from everything about the literature of the 19th century to science and history of science about the 19th century to modern day. There's phenomenal debates in this play about what is more important. Is it art or science, or is it both together?
Oh,
And
I like that one.
yeah, so I think if those are things that interest you, if it's you have a one or the other, if you have a both mentality,
Yeah.
I think this show is definitely for you.
And what's your social?
My Instagram is The Howling Shoe Puff, and it's the same for Twitter and Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in today, Lucia.
Great. Thank you for having me. This has been good.
Thanks for listening.